Amsterdam, so we can talk all about the flowers. I think Amsterdam is a spring city. I had a marvelous time in May. I think it was a drastically different experience than my previous times. And now Amsterdam is easily in my top 5 cities favorites in the whole world. Like, loved it. It deserves more time. And it also deserves look in the spring. That's my take on it. I also went to Van Gogh Museum. We did several workshops in Amsterdam. We did a Stroopwafel making workshop where we made our own waffles. And then we also did a tile painting workshop, which you can see in the bottom right. My super buff, big linebacker sized military husband got this itty bitty tiny paintbrush and was painting a duck on a tile in Amsterdam. It was just such a cool experience. There's wisteria this time of year everywhere, just hanging, dripping all over the canals and all over the buildings. It's stunning. So we stayed 5 nights there. I really just wandered around as many bridges and canals as I could find, which is easy to do. There's like 1,500 bridges in Amsterdam, not exaggerating. There's flowers everywhere. There's art and shopping workshops that I was talking about. And it's just a very charming city. You just need time to get to know it. There are more than 100 different kilometers of canals. And as I mentioned, approximately 1,500 bridges. There's a lot of historic homes here and they all have stories behind them. I really love if you take a canal tour, which is what I did the first 2 times I went to Amsterdam, I still love it. I didn't actually do it this trip, but I do recommend the canal tour. Then you'll see some really wild houses and they all have different backstories. So that's a very interesting and fun thing to do. I also went to the Anne Frank house, which is a very historical place. Amazing backstory. I could talk about that all day. Highly recommend going. It's a sobering experience, but something you should do if you're going to be there, especially for an extended time. So let's talk about these gardens, guys. If you've been there, you can back me up in this. You can't even capture this in photos. I probably have over 1,000 photos just from these gardens on my phone, and I couldn't send them all to our content team. I was trying just to narrow down to a few of them, but 7 million flower bulbs, tulips everywhere, different types of flowers everywhere. These are really artistic garden displays. The gardens are incredibly popular. I recommend going early in the morning. This is actually about an hour from Amsterdam. You're going to need to take a bus or you can rent a car. I did a tour where you could go and you could decide when you want to come back. So the buses just run all day. You get a bus to go out there. I went as early as I could in the morning, and then you stay as long as you want to, and you catch one of the buses that leave every 20 minutes or so. And then you go back to the city. They're only open for a few weeks each spring. So you're talking about a very small season. This was easily one of my favorite days of our entire trip. It's absolutely gorgeous there. So we had a great time. Other things that we did in Amsterdam, a lot of it was wandering. We just wandered around. 9th Street Shopping District is where the Andaz is located. So you could just walk outside the Andaz and go strolling up and down. There's boutiques, there's fry shops, there's coffee shops, there is all kinds of little food vendors. And if you're like me and you like Dutch jewelry, which I'm wearing today, or just pretty little things to look at, handmade tiles, artisan type stuff, you would really enjoy this district because that's essentially what the 9th Streets area is. So we spent a lot of time doing that. Also enjoying some of those workshops that I told you about. Food-wise, there's tons of bakeries. I highly recommend a place called the Happy Pig Pancake Shop. It is a Dutch pancake shop. It's delicious. If you have any dietary restrictions, they will accommodate you there. So you can get it if you're gluten-free.
That's great to know, Julie. A lot of people, as you mentioned that before, were popping up in the chat saying, yeah, I deal with that, be it gluten or dairy or whatever the case is. So that's great to know. That's a great pro tip. You're heading that way.
Yeah. And if you don't have dietary restrictions, you can get the regular Dutch pancakes there as well. But I recommend that for anybody. And it's very close to that 9th Street shopping district I was talking about. So you can go get a Dutch pancake and wander around under the wisteria and look at all the shops. Like, it's just a great place to be. Andaz, let's talk about that. Andaz Amsterdam is so good at telling a story, I think. The designer for this hotel did such a good job incorporating Dutch culture in a very artsy, fun kind of way, which I think Andaz as a brand is really, really good at doing. But all of their fabrics, the art that you'll find on the walls, the different textiles that they have in the hotel, they're all done by Dutch designers. So they've done a really good job supporting the country and just representing it very well. So I did 5 nights here. This was originally just a regular king room. So that's what I gave you the information on, was a king bedroom. That would have been $2,800. Points required for that's 25,000 points per night. So 125,000 total, just a little over 2 cents per point. Not an amazing redemption, but better than paying $3,000 in my opinion. I actually ended up, when I was there, I asked if they had a suite available to upgrade to. And I do have some status with Hyatt, but they didn't have anything available that I could upgrade to for free. So I paid, I want to say it was like $600 to get the room that you're looking at here with that giant bathtub in the bottom right corner. Yeah. But it was for 5 nights. And so I got that living room. We got a beautiful view. We got that nice bathtub, which also has an amazing shower behind it. That was worth it to me. Again, anniversary trip. And because I saved so much money elsewhere using points, that was like a really easy splurge. So you could always ask if there's availability to upgrade your room, even if you don't have status. I think it's worth asking. So this, like I said, home base for this was the Andaz in Amsterdam. It is canal side, and it is in a very, I feel like, authentic Amsterdam experience type of district. You walk out and there's the canal, easy walking access to all of the stuff that I told you about here, minus Kokenhof. And then we just had plenty of time to slow down and just really explore the city. I had a hard time leaving Amsterdam. I was actually really sad when we moved on with the rest of our trip, and we had great places to go, but I loved it that much. I had a hard time moving on. That being said, getting to Murano was an easy way to recover because it was another beautiful space. It's a very colorful island, lots and lots of color, and it's got a lot to do with the handmade glass that they have on that island. When you're there, you can watch them make it. And this isn't, to me, your typical glass blowing demonstration. There's a lot of family-run workshops. There's a lot of synergy between the masters, and they call them masters. So there's a lot of respect for the artisans on this island. It's a very, very peaceful experience compared to Venice, which is much busier and much more populated. Murano glass is like otherworldly. I can't even show you many pictures of it. I have a few of them here. I can't show you a ton of photos because they don't want you to take pictures, because they don't want you to post it online and then other artisans see it and try to copy their color scheme and their color palette and things like that. Because a lot of techniques are similar in terms of classical Venetian glass blowing art. Like these floral chandeliers, you'll see them all over the island, but the colors are different. So this is something I actually went to Murano for. You're seeing I'm saving a lot of money here using points. So we're building a home right now. We went with the intention to acquire a few things for our new house as part of this anniversary trip. These are some pictures that I was allowed to take at one of the workshops. There are some places on the island where you can go in and they encourage it because they want to get social media attention. They want us to share it with crowds like you so that you'll come to Murano and you can come experience this yourself and meet some of the artisans and things like that. So these are just some pictures that I took at that workshop, but nothing is really, in this workshop in particular, they were singing in Italian, they were throwing things across the room, they were moving in sync. Like I was saying earlier, there's a synchronicity to it that's hard to explain, because as someone takes something out of the oven, someone else is putting something into the fire, and then they're moving over to this stand, and this person's grabbing this tool, and they're doing this, and they just move as a team the whole time. And so that's something that you really just need to see it in person, because it's a very cool experience to watch. The Hyatt Centric in Murano is a very quiet hotel. In the evenings, Murano just shuts down around dinner time. It's beautiful to watch at sunset. The water's gorgeous. And in the hotel itself is a lot of glass, because again, they're very proud of this. So as far as the redemption goes, this was the only one that you guys are just going to cut me some grace, because I know you'll be nice to me. I was a little under 2 cents per point. I still didn't want to pay cash. So we did 20,000 points per night. It would have been about $800 in cash that I just didn't want to pay.
Well, and I think that's worth calling out though, Julie, is, we do talk about at Jagoot the 2 cent rule. We don't use our points for less than 2 cents per point, but there is that feel good rule that we talk about occasionally where, hey, I've got a situation where I don't want to spend this cash. I've got a surplus of points. Or maybe you're in a situation, we were in back when we were kind of first starting with this, our redemption was a little under 2 cents, but it was a week-long stay that was going to cost me a couple of $1,000s.
That's right.
And even though it's below that benchmark, it was still worth it for me. I think the biggest difference, Julie, and correct me if you see it differently, is that it's a conscious choice. I know the value of my points. I know how to use them for more. I'm choosing as part of my strategy to use these here in this way. And that's perfectly fine.
Yep. Especially when I was so close, so close.
Yeah, we can round that one, Julie. You're safe.
Thanks. Thanks. I appreciate that. So why we love staying here, you're right next to the glass studios. You can go take a break at the hotel whenever you want. There's canals all over Murano, so you can go over this bridge and there's a whole different set of shops or workshops. You go over this bridge, there's more. I didn't get to explore the whole island and I spent 2 days trying. And so I think that it's a very worthwhile place to stay and it's a very peaceful place to stay. These pictures are taken overlooking the canals in Murano and you can see like the one where I'm leaning in the top right here. It's beautiful. It's very scenic. I love all the little boats and the backdrop of the colorful buildings. It's a really lovely place to take pictures and just get to walk around, have some gelato, stop and have lunch. It's a great, peaceful place to stay.